Alrighty. Okay.
It's time for BGFG.
Gonads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done. Great. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremo.
Oh, yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunk, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day I'm not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now, the guys that went on a beer run 2 years ago.
Welcome to BGFG episode 319. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and unfortunately, Mr. Fremozy is not joining me today. He's got a massive ear infection. I don't know. I think he got something stuck in his ear. You never know down there, down south. Stuck something in his ear, and now he can't get it out, or something like that. I don't know. We wish him the best and hope he's okay. Last time I talked to him, he was just in pain. Ear things hurt sometimes. But he's in better spirits. So COVID has been driving everybody absolutely mad. I work in retail. Fremo and I both do IT work, and people are beside themselves between having to get the kids ready for school and to do distance learning and to do everything else that's going on and the constant pressure. And when you're in retail, the entire time you're at work or any job that you're at right now, customer facing, you have to wear masks for 8 hours minimum. You're not allowed to take them off. So when people come in and complain that they're wearing it for 5 minutes while they're at customer service, or 5 minutes while they're coming in to get something that they need, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, my heart does not bleed for you, But it's getting crazy. I mean, I've seen videos and things that people have sent us at BGFG. That's just, it's insane. It's insane the things that are going on out there. And as a human race, as the middle class, I mean, we're kind of in the middle of all of it, and it's a scary time. And it's weird that our political people and our elected officials are doing the things that they need to do to keep us safe. I feel that's wrong. I feel, and I'm speaking for Fremo now because I know he agrees with me, that the almighty dollar is really kind of controlling everything, and that's not fair. That's not right. So to all of our BGFG listeners, just try to keep safe out there. I know we haven't done regular podcasts right now, and we're not because, again, with the COVID stuff, I know where I'm working, people are dropping like flies. They're not. That's a wrong term. That's just, I can't use that term. So what it is that everybody that is at working is either quitting or going out on some sort of stress leave, because it is. When you're constantly getting yelled at all the time, it's tough. So it's very difficult to do these podcasts week to week, but we're trying. We're trying to get there. Again, with the COVID crisis, it's very difficult, but stay tuned. There's always new things that we're doing. There should be a new show that might be coming up, and it's not even mine and Fremo's. It's somebody else we're going to be producing and putting on our show, putting on our network for a little bit, and we're looking forward to it. I think a lot of people are going to find it quite interesting and different from what we do. So it's a different taste. It's a different flavor. But we'll kick the tires, run it around the block, see how it does. Let's just get into this week's news. Again, we got your conspiracy news. We got it right here. Oh, that's the wrong button.
BGFG News. heard it here third.
So I know some of this stuff is kind of old, but I think it's kind of still relevant because people might not realize what has happened over the course of all this crazy pandemic shit. So Putin, he somehow, and if you haven't heard this, it's absolutely insane. So the Russians voted in a landslide to change the constitution to allow Putin to stay to run for president 2 more times. So he's basically not going to be leaving there anytime soon. I mean, he hasn't gotten voted out yet. He's not going to get voted out anytime soon. And it was a landslide victory, which is also something comical when you speak about coming out of Russia. And again, when we say stuff on this show like that or similar to that, it's not like we're bagging on Russian people, okay? Just like the United States, our politicians suck for the most part. There's some good ones, but for the most part, they suck as a whole. In Russia, it's the same thing. And I would assume in every single country, the politicians suck in a lot of ways, especially to us middle-class people. I don't care if you're middle class and lower class. I don't care if you're in Russia. I don't care if you're in the UK. I don't care if you're in the US, you're in Canada. Lower middle class sucks. We're the working force of the country, whatever country you're in, and it sucks because we never get listened to. The vote was 78-21 in favor of Putin being in basically for life. I mean, he's not going to be getting out anytime soon. Then he took a break from election rigging to offer up some bigotry, which was nice. This is one of those things where you can't really. It's Russia. It's the way they do things. And they're very, very proud. And I respect that. They are extremely proud. But sometimes politicians suck. And since June the 25th, the U.S. Embassy was flying an LBGT flag. And Russia did not like that at all. Putin said that the flag revealed something about the people that work there. Again, sending a little dig over to the U.S. The vote to extend Putin's reign also condemned any marriage other than a man and a woman. So when you have people like this in power, and again, it can go for our own country as well, regardless of who it is, whether you like Trump or not, whether you liked Obama or not, whether you liked Reagan or not, whether you liked the Bushes or not. People have positives, people have negatives. People like some things, don't like some things. I personally, and again, we don't push that opinion here, but I personally don't like President Trump. That's me. I didn't vote for him. I don't like him. He has done a couple of things that were halfway decent. Recently, he did a thing with one of the companies that got a funding from the pandemic. He found out that that company sourced all of their workers, laid off all of their workers, sourced their work to outside companies, outside the country, actually. And President Trump went, no, you're not doing that. It's un-American. Where's my clapping sound? Do I even have the clapping sound on here? I don't even think I have the clapping. It's good job. I have nothing to complain about with that at all, whether you like them or not. But there is some things that you see that sneak by in the news that we try to show you here on BGFG. You know, and again, this is water cooler stuff. This is stuff that you could be sitting in your break room or lunch room and some moron comes up and we give you the facts to counter some stupidity. For instance, Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein is still pulling strings. People don't realize that when you're an elitist and you're in that group, I mean, they're not the 1% or the elitists, but they're right below that with the politicians and the people that control things. Weinstein was one of them, and he got away with a lot of it. Jeffrey Epstein was another one, gets away with a lot of it. Even that lady that was involved with Epstein, Trump went on the record as saying that, you know, he wishes her the best. You shouldn't be wishing her the best if she's going to be convicted of child trafficking. It's not something you should be standing behind at all, regardless of what you may or may not think the person was like when you met them. So in February, Weinstein was convicted in New York City of third-degree rape and first-degree sexual acts, carrying a total of 23 years. And I'm pretty confident, we at BGFG have talked about it, and we're pretty confident he's not going to be doing 23 years anytime soon at all. He's even got 2 lawsuits against him that are being settled for $18.9 million. Just to show you the scope of how much money this man has available to him, 2 lawsuits, $18.9 million, doled that out. You're not going to hear too much more about him being in any sort of prison or anything else until he gets out because, again, he's not going to serve the 23 years. He's going to do soft time, not hard time, and basically to keep his mouth shut. And if he doesn't keep his mouth shut or even hints that he's going to dime out anybody, he'll end up like Epstein, supposedly suicide, which is not true. It's a sad state of affairs when you see that happen. It's, when you do stuff like that, you just simply don't know what people are. I mean, look at Bill Cosby. I mean, we loved Bill Cosby growing up, and then we find out what happened, and it's like, wow, that really does happen. People have dark sides. Some are darker than others, but don't mistake it, man. Everybody has something, some little thing, and I don't care who you are. It's something, whether in your mind you think something racist or, I don't know. It's just everybody has something dark, something that they might not, it might be the way you talk to your wife in private times. It might be, the way you don't give or make a comment to a homeless person. I don't know. Everybody has a dark side. Some are darker than others. Unless you're Facebook. And then if you're Facebook, you just have dark times all the time. So, like we talked about in the last show, if you can remember that far back, Facebook's losing a lot of revenue right now from its advertisers for basically not taking a stance. We've put in the show several times that Facebook gets called into Congress all the time for all sorts of stupid shit, from not having secure features to when you disable location services in an iPhone, Facebook still isn't disabled. They still insist. And again, they go to court, they explain themselves, they get a slap on the hand, they pay their fine and leave the building, and nothing's ever said about it again. Well, they're losing a lot of advertisers right now and this includes Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. All of their companies are losing money from this. And the sad thing is that Zuckerberg just doesn't care. And when confronted, is that a cat underneath my legs? That is a freaky feeling. Zuckerberg just doesn't care. And he said it when he was confronted with it, like, why are all these companies leaving over the choices that you made? He's like, no, they'll be back soon enough. Like, that's the cocky and arrogance that these elitists really have, is that they're just above everything. And I do agree with part of what Mark Zuckerberg says. You signed the EULA, that end user license agreement, as many times as it's changed over the years, and they do change frequently. If you don't read them and read between the lines, and it's not easy. It's not like you can just scroll down and read 4 paragraphs and understand what they're going to do. No, it's a lot of doublespeak. It's they're handing certain information to third parties. The third parties are giving them statistics. At the same time, the third parties have that information, and they're partners, so they can do whatever they want with that information. That's not right. But again, Zuckerberg's like, you signed the EULA. That's what we agree to. That's how we get these advertisers. That's how we get these people to work with us. And it's sad. And even TikTok has been found sniping data from a clipboard without authorization. Now, TikTok is a Chinese-based company, which, of course, President Trump is just completely all over the place on. And it's just it's just a strange state of affairs when you have the president who is friendly with China, and then it wasn't friendly with China, and then he's blaming China on all sorts of outbreaks and pandemics. Again, it came from China. There's no doubt, but to blame them as they did this purposefully, I don't see that happening. I just, and now that TikTok is sniping data from your clipboard, which again, your clipboard can be just about anything, saved clipboard, cut and paste, all those different things. It could be if you cut and paste a password for your significant other and you fire it into a text message, well, they can see that. And that's not really, really good at all. In fact, Reddit, a place that I like to go to often, the Reddit CEO called TikTok a fundamental parasite and is always listening. That is true as well. What is also absolutely bizarre was that when they did this congressional hearing, maybe when was the congressional hearing? Oh, it had to be like last week maybe. And you had Jeff Bezos from Amazon, you had representation from Google, you had Tim Cook from Apple, or Tim Apple. You had the major corporations. But what was mysterious was that Microsoft was not in attendance. Now, Microsoft owning Windows is one of the most powerful right now. They have a bigger market share than just about anything. I would dare say that they might have a bigger market share in the personal computer business than Google and Apple combined. I would love to see some stats on that. But it wouldn't surprise me at all because Windows is essentially everywhere. And it really makes you wonder, because if Windows wasn't there and then suddenly TikTok's going to be purchased, and TikTok's going to be purchased by President Trump said that it'd be a good idea for Microsoft. Microsoft should buy them. Microsoft jumped on the bandwagon and went, yeah, hell, we'll buy them. Absolutely. Again, you can't trust anything that you read in the news. I mean, do your research like we teach you on BGFG. Just do your research, because it's unbelievable how much things coincide. So Microsoft's going to buy TikTok, and immediately when they said, yeah, we're going to buy it, we're just finishing up negotiations, Trump immediately turned around and said, well, you know, we should get basically he was saying we should get a kickback or a finder's fee for helping you and allowing you, which I was always find funny, allowing you to buy TikTok. Just messed up, completely messed up. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Just get off of Facebook. Facebook is just disgusting. I deal with it on a daily basis of people that they've either been compromised or malware or unwanted programs, 150 different things, because Facebook is an absolute garbage heap. So everything going on today with COVID, with the uptick of things, I just want to try to play for the music this week something a little bit more down, a little bit calming down, especially after that stuff's kind of heavy. So I'm going to pull it back a little bit. We're going to do a new song, well, not new, but new to you, most likely, from Paolo Nutini, called Iron Sky. It's a little bit long, a little bit smooth. I hope you enjoy it on your nice little drive if you can. And we're going to come back. We're going to do some stick-style news. I found an unbelievable case, computer case, if you're thinking about doing a build during your your Trump money, with your Trump money. And then I think for the last part of the show, we were going to do Subtopia Null, but I think we're going to wait for Freemo for that. It's a big deal. And what we'll do instead is we'll do some news from my personal list, and we'll see how that goes. So here's Paolo Nutini, and we'll catch you on the other side.
We are proud individuals living for the city, but the flame couldn't go much higher. We find God and religions to paint us with salvation, but no one, nobody can give you the power to rise over love, over hate. Through this iron sky, the flash of it coming on mine. Over free earth and into freedom. Oh, that light left dripping down the wall of a dream that cannot breathe in its harsh reality. Mass confusion, spoon-fed from which we'll rise over love, over hate, through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over fear and into freedom. Oh, you just got to hold on. You just got to hold on.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Let us use that power, let us all unite.
And we'll rise over love and over hate, through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over fear into freedom, from which we'll rise over love and over hate, through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over fear into freedom, rain on me, rain on me, rain on me.
Welcome back. It seems like the live stream might be skipping out a little bit, and I apologize for that. But I got a bunch of kids home, and they're all playing games, so that's just the way it is. Let's get into stick style for this week.
Gaming.
So the first thing I want to bring up in stick style this week, which I thought was the coolest thing I have seen in a long time. So I was looking at different things to. My boys want to build a computer over the winter and then flip it, and they would just want to get the experience of building something. Excuse me. So I was looking around at different PC cases we can get. We've got several Corsairs in the house, the larger ones. I love my Corsair. My son has a larger Cooler Master one, which is way too big. It's like a small fridge. It's gigantic. It's stupid big, unnecessarily big. But there's a company, Zadak, that's got the Moab 2 Elite Water Cooling PC case. Now, I put a link in the show notes, and you got to click on this thing. Zadak is the name of the company, and that's ZADAK.biz. This is a badass case, no doubt. So what this case has, and it's got a built-in cooling loop. Now, they say that it works with any computer. It's an open air case, so that means there's really no sides to it. It's just a middle piece that everything kind of attaches to. And it's really cool looking, and everything's out in the open, so you get a lot of air. It's got a little RGB in it, so you got to love it a little bit. But the coolest part about it is that it has a built-in cooling loop. Right now, they say it works with just about any motherboard, but they do have 9 motherboards that are have been tested on it. So they guarantee to work. And those 9 are really good motherboards from a bunch of different companies, from Asus, from Gigabyte, from MSI. They got them here. So if you are in the market for that type of motherboard and you're looking at this chassis, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chassis. Me and the boys are actually really thinking about getting this to build over the winter break and flip it afterwards. But I don't even know if I could flip it. I don't know, because if I build it, I might want to keep it because it's really, really friggin' cool looking. So you have an adjustable water block, so that goes up and down so that you can adjust it onto the motherboard, and it's just really cool. Click on the link and check it out. I haven't been able to find a price on it. I'm assuming that it's not cheap, but again, as soon as I can get a price on it, I'll probably update the website and just post it there. But there is so much. You have a captive touch switch to turn it on. There's just so much in this case. It can't be cheap, but it is the badass looking case. Just beautiful. And depending, if you like showing off your stuff, like if you like showing off the video card that you have, right now, video cards and cases go sideways, so you get to see it's the top bar, whatever they color it or name it. But a lot of times the fans and everything else on it have RGB, or they kind of design it a little bit, and you can show off your video card if you put it vertically. Some cases allow a vertical installation. The problem with a lot of those is that where they set up the vertical installation for a video card in a chassis is really right up against the side panel, even if it's glass. So you have a couple of choices. You can put a steel one on there, which I don't recommend. You can cut out plexiglass. You can do it that way. Or you just leave the side off of it. But again, that lets a lot of debris and things getting in there. But you can't really see the video card. So, for instance, I have a Radeon 7, which has been, since, much to my chagrin, discontinued. But I would love to have that shown right there. That way people go, whoa, damn, that's a Radeon 7. That was awesome. This case allows you to do that very well and well ventilated. It's really, really nice. The next piece that we have in stick style is something I've looked forward to a lot. As you can tell with my shirt and just about every shirt I wear on every show, and pretty much all the time, I think, is usually some sort of sci-fi reference, and usually it's Star Wars. Myself and my family are massive Star Wars fans. I mean, really good. Legacy stuff, comic books, novels, graphic novels, games, anything we can. We love Star Wars around here. And Star Wars Squadrons is going to be coming out really soon. You might have heard about it if you're into video games, and or if you're into Star Wars, you've heard about some of the games that have been dropped, some of the games that are coming back, some of the games that aren't. Star Wars TIE Fighter and X-Wing was re-released, I want to say on Steam, but they made a big splash because they're good games. They were great games. I remember keeping a Nintendo GameCube just for Star Wars X-Wing and for Rogue Squadron, I think it was. Just keeping it for those games because they were so good and so much fun to play. I kept the whole system and kept it around with those discs in it, usually, just to play it. Star Wars Squadron is coming out, and again, it's a flight, more or less a flight sim. Very cool looking, just what you think it is. You're in an X-Wing and you're flying. It's pretty much that. What I thought was cool, and this is the link I put in the show notes, is that one of the greatest things I think about this game is not just that you get to fly in X-Wing, and I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of things like battles over Mustafar and battles over Coruscant and space battles, and probably the trench run will be there eventually. Downloadable content most likely, because I know I would pay for it, so why not charge for it? But more importantly, Star Wars Squadrons is going to be able to use HOTAS rigs. So that's basically your flight controls, the throttle and the joystick that you see sometimes at stores. There's probably about 5 or 6 that are really, really good. And this game is going to support those. So you can actually fly like a pilot in these with a joystick and with a throttle. That's cool unto itself. I can't wait to see. And a lot of... there's all sorts of rumors that they're going to do a lot more. They're going to, especially if Squadrons takes off, they're going to start re-releasing and revamping a lot of the other ones, the X-Wing, the Rogue Squadron, the Jedi Starfighter. They're going to do all those games, and I cannot wait for that. I think that is going to be the coolest thing ever. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in stick style, because again, it's been a tough day. Oh yeah, the chair. I didn't put the link in the show notes, but you don't even need it because you're gonna know. Herman Miller, I believe it's Herman Miller, partnered with Logitech to create a gaming chair. The chair is astounding looking. It is beautiful. It is top notch. It just looks so comfortable. I just want to sit in it all day and part of tomorrow. It's wonderful, and it's like $2,000. So unless I get picked up by them as a sponsor, and that's the only thing I'm going to ask for, it's never going to happen. It's never going to come in this house because it's just not. So back to the Star Wars Squadrons. The consoles, I don't believe, are going to use the controllers, but the PC version of these games will use the flight sticks, which is going to be so cool. I cannot wait. One of the other things I want to talk about in stick style this week is, and I didn't put it in the show notes, but just enjoy anyway. One of the things is Ghost of Tsushima. What a phenomenal game. If you like Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2, you like open world runners with a main quest and then a bunch of side quests. And if you are interested or like the feudal Japanese culture, you're going to like this game. In fact, you're going to love this game. As a martial artist, I can tell you that there is so many legit things. I mean, there's some things that just, you can get... When you're doing martial arts for a while, you can critique things like, the shoulder of the character isn't far enough back for that stance. But the fact that they have stances in there, it's based loosely on Aido, a sword style, and a lot of things in there I've seen and or done. The game looks incredible. I think they thought of absolutely everything. I don't see how you can get bored in this game. There is so much. There's like 92 submissions besides the main mission. So you're constantly doing things. It's really fun. The arguments right now for Ghosts is that, number one, it's repetitive. Yes, it is. You have to gather, and some of us older gamers are going to remember this. You have to gather your team. So in order to gather your team, you have to go search them out. So let's say you search out Kenji. You go find Kenji, you ride your horse, you do a bunch of things in between, but you go find Kenji, and Kenji says that he needs help finding his wine, or finding his former student, or there's a village over there that needs help, and I need help helping them. These little submissions create confidence, and that character then becomes part of your team. Now you can continue on with that character's story. There's usually 2 or 3 more things you have to do to complete the storyline, but for the most part, you can just get them and move on with the main story. That is repetitive because you have to do that for each person. You're still going from point A to point B, beating a bunch of people up, then go from point B to point C, beat a bunch of people up, and then, thank you for helping me, now I'm part of your team. So that is repetitive. The stories are somewhat different. The characters, I think, are very free, and I understand how the game resets. I would have loved to go back and fight that one last guy that beat me up. The only thing, and again, in a game this size, I cannot fault them for that because they thought of everything. There is rare occasions on duels or the position in which you end up if you're backtracking or running around or in the middle of a fight, that is, and you move, the camera sometimes gets blocked and you will lose. You can lose quickly in this game. If you're patient and you're calm and you got good twitch skills, you'll be great because, block, parry, attack, parry, attack. You can hack and slash, but you need a very strong to do that because, again, the game is very accurate. If you get hit with the sword, you're not getting hit 5 or 6 times. You're getting hit like twice, 2, 3 times, and it's over. And that's the way this game is. So you're dying often, at least I am, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it because I just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So if you haven't checked it out, at least watch some videos on it. You'll find on our Stick Style YouTube channel as well as our Stick Style channel on Twitch. You'll find me playing that a few times. I haven't broadcast, like I said, I haven't broadcast a lot lately because with the COVID stuff and work schedules and things like that, by the time you get home, you're just exhausted and you have like a half an hour, and I'm not going to put a half an hour of me falling asleep in front of a game online. I want to have time to play it. Like today, I will probably play it. But if you get a chance, check out the game. Watch some videos, and if you like Red Dead Redemption and you like open world and you like God of War, because it's kind of like a hack and slash, it's got hack and slash feelings to it, then you'll really, really like that game, I think. All right, let's get into the last segment, and we'll see what we can do. So for what it's worth, originally this segment was going to be the first appearance of Subtopia Null, but yet again, every time we've tried to launch this show or that portion of the show in 10 years, something always happens with either myself or Fremos. So again, we're going to hold off on that. So what I decided to do, and for what it's worth this week, is I just want to go through my personal list of just links that I keep for reading or I keep for anything. And just go over some of those things. So it's probably not going to be a long segment, but one of the first things I wanted to pull up was we were talking about TikTok earlier, and it makes me laugh because Microsoft's going to get it. They're going to buy it, and I'm not even worried because everybody's TikTok's this, TikTok's that, and we should get rid of it, and it's a cesspool, and it's China, and all this. It doesn't matter. Microsoft's buying it. So in 6 months, there's not going to be any more TikTok. Microsoft is notorious. Look what they did with Mixer. Mixer was not a bad platform. If you gave it a little bit more time, it would definitely be competing with Twitch. You had the people there. You had Ninja. You had Shroud. You have God. There's so many people. Mr. Bada Bing. There's Ewok. You have all these people on there. Yet for some reason, you just in a month throw them off. I don't know what's going on with Microsoft right now. There's a lot of If you're reading the tea leaves, there's a lot of weird things going on with them, with the way they're handling their Office programs. Like Outlook, they're not even caring about anymore. They really don't care about Office at all. Because, again, there's so many free versions and stuff. It's not really needed that much anymore. So they seem to be leaning away from that. They've got a lot of investments in their Xbox platform, and they're making that into a very much Windows platform as well. They're putting a lot of Xbox features into their Windows 10 platform, which is very, very nice. It's extremely easy to use. Cross-platform is going to be phenomenal. Cloud Play is going to be phenomenal. And that's great for Microsoft, but everything else that Microsoft does is not looking great right now. Their Office is pretty much going down the drain. Their Windows 10, they've already said they're not doing any, they're just going to do feature updates here and there. And I have to admit, it is a damn solid operating system. I think with some of these feature updates, you take away some of the legacy stuff, it's even going to run better. So it's a solid platform. Playing games, whether it's Windows, whether it's Cloud Play, whether it's Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, I don't even know what they're calling it at this point. All of that on the Windows platform is great. And then you supplement that with all your Steam stuff, it is really good. But everything else that they're doing is just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. They're just very quiet. They weren't represented at that congressional hearing. It's very weird what's going on. And then they suddenly get access to TikTok. The president approves. Well, he gives them their consent. Why the fuck does he need to give his consent? What the hell does that matter? And why does that matter? And why is it in the news? You got to ask these questions. Another thing you can ask questions about is Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. They raked in, I just found this the other day, they raked in $36 million while serving at the White House. $36 million. $36 million. And I it's things like that that really, really make me wonder about a lot of stuff going on and why I think shows like Subtopia Null and other shows that aren't necessarily conspiracy, but just said when he retweeted the doctor that believes in alien DNA and demon sperm. I don't get that at all. And as for the alien DNA thing, I mean, you can go 100 different directions with that. We've done that on BGFG. We've done that. We've talked about that, considering putting that into Subtopia Null with alien DNA and DNA restructuring and all that happy horse shit. And it's not going to really, it's not going to. And then they top it all off, the hydroxychloroquine. Here's a drug that my wife needs desperately, and we're going to just give it to people, and it may work. It's going to give you a heart condition that they're not telling anybody, but that's okay, because it might cure COVID. Instagram is another thing, and for what it's worth. So Instagram, as I said, I could always fit in a Facebook. Instagram is part of Facebook. So Instagram has now been caught, and now they've said that they're going to fix a bug that shows the camera as on in iOS 14. It's a bug. Yeah, I bet I'm pretty confident that Instagram thought this was a feature. Facebook said, hey, if we can turn, location services on and just have to pay a fine, let's just turn the camera on too. That way, everybody has selfies ready. Come on. That is such garbage. Ugh. I can't stand that. It's ridiculous. Oh, and one last thing before we go this week. Pass this on to your friends and family and loved ones that say things like this. If you... How can I put this? If you know someone that's sitting there and saying that all of this... Wuhan and all of these things are all related, they may or may not be. I really can't answer that they all are related. I can tell you that there's a lot of things that go on that look like they're all related. Do your due diligence, like we always tell you here. Follow the money, read the news in other parts of the world, because they're less biased than we are. But one of the things that's misconception, you need to clue in your friends, family, and relatives on this one. Feed the sheeple. Is that when people say, and I hear this a lot, defund the police, defund the police. You get the morons out there, the sheep that are just sitting there going, defund the police, close the police. That's not what this means. Defunding the police does not mean closing down the police station and firing all the police officers. That's not what defunding means. Defunding is actually a good idea because, again, police are there to protect and serve. They're not there to really take care of an autistic child, nonverbal autistic child that's really raging out of control, or that a mentally unstable person from a home got loose, or an elderly left the facility and hasn't come back yet. This isn't the police. This isn't a matter for the police. This is a matter for another department or a social services department or something like that. If we have to give them different training and a little bit more authority, but the police are not designed for this. The police are not designed to calm down an autistic child or a special needs child or a special needs person or round up elderly that have gotten lost. That's not the police's job. There's other departments we need to create, and we're funding the police for that. People talk about, the police got all this funding. I agree. There's a lot of police officers that need to be retrained, but there's a lot of police officers that do very good, and they're there to protect and serve. The defunding just takes away that extra money they're getting. They're not actually getting this money, people. This is why you see police working 12-hour shifts. They're not exactly getting this money. This money is being funded for extra training that they need to deal with a special needs kid, a mentally unstable person. This is not needed. This is when you call in a specialist. When we have a hostage situation, you call in a hostage specialist, don't you? When you have a situation that's really extreme and you have to call in SWAT, you're calling in these specialized people. Don't make the standard patrolman try to figure out if that guy is crazy on drugs or just missed his medication for 2 days. This is not what they're for, man. They're not designed for this. And I just think we need to be very careful as to how we proceed. with the defunding meme. So when you hear people talk about defunding, just calmly explain to them. Don't tell them they're idiots until later. Just calmly tell them, look, it's not defunding the police. It's actually just minimizing their responsibilities. Let them protect and serve. Let them do their jobs. Let them stop drug dealers, child pornography, human trafficking. Let them stop those. They don't need to go to Cumberland Farms to stop Karen. That's a whole nother issue. You should be taking care of that shit yourself. Anyway, that's it. I've rambled on enough. There's more to come in the next few days, I guess, maybe. Depends if Fremo can hear or not. All right, that's it for this week. 10's down. Show's over.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast,